Hi guys, this is my response to Jameson Cain's contest. He's asked a bunch of questions and just wants people to answer them. But first off, just congratulations on getting to 245 subscribers. That's pretty good. And yeah, this that you see in front of you here is something I did quite a while ago, just a little bit of fun, I suppose. Something for you guys to look at while I ramble a little bit. It's a blackbird skull that I cleaned the feathers off and put a bit of paint on. It's pretty fragile, it's actually broken already, but this is actually probably about 8 years old now, actually. It's done well to last, considering how fragile birds' bones are. But anyway, that's enough about that. On to Jameson Cain's questions. Question number 1 is, how did you get started in the hobby? And I think the answer to that is when I was in school, way back in school, sort of about 11 years old, I think, 11 or 12 years old. And a couple of the other guys at school were into it, and I saw what they were doing, and it sort of captured my interest. One of the guys at the time had a Valhallan army, and I remember he had a demolisher, and I saw it and thought, that's a really cool tank, I want one. And then of course realised how expensive it was, and even at that time, being 11, 12 years old, it was expensive. But anyway, that's when the bug got me. I've sort of been into it ever since, but not 100%. Like, I was into it for a while when I was at school then, and things changed and I dropped out of the hobby, and then I got back into it again when I started working full time and could afford stuff. And then I dropped out of it again when I moved away, and now I'm starting to get back into it again. So it's been a bit on and off, I suppose, but it's always been there somewhere in the back of my mind, even when I haven't been that into it. Question number 2, are you a gamer or a hobbyist? At the minute, I'm definitely a hobbyist and not a gamer, but that could change at some point. At the minute, for me, it's all about the modelling and the painting aspects. And I think because of that, it's going to make it easier for me to move away from Games Workshop, because I'm not as into their gaming system, which kind of makes it easier for me, I suppose, compared to possibly some other people moving away from Games Workshop. But that's, I guess, a topic for a different day. Question number 3. What was the first model you assembled and painted? I think that would have to be one of the orcs from the original 40k starter set. Yeah, and if I remember rightly, all they needed doing was slotting in the base. I think the Marines that came in the old starter set had a plug-in backpack and a plug-in bolter on the front, and that was it. And I don't think the Goth orcs with the slugger and the axe and the horned helmets, I don't think they needed any putting together, actually. So I don't know if that counts, but I think that was probably it. And that was a long time ago, right at the start of my hobby experience. Question number 4. What is your favourite paint? The only paint I've actually used up until now is the Citadel range, but I'm not intending on getting any of the new range since they replaced it. Fingers crossed, I'll be switching over to Vallejo, mainly because of the dropper bottles. I want to see, test out some dropper bottles and see how they compare to these flip caps. I'm as sure as I can be that I will be much more happy with them. But yeah, that switching paint lines is going to take a while, but hopefully I'll pick some up soon, be able to give them a try and take it from there. So, well, I guess the answer is I don't have a favourite paint because I've only used one, so I haven't got anything to compare it to. Question number 5. How would you rate yourself as a painter? 1 spastic gimp and 10 golden demon. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I reckon I'm probably a 7. So I do produce some fairly good stuff. It's good quality stuff as far as I'm concerned, but it's still obviously got room for improvement, and there's a few things that I need to really master and work on to sort of up my game. But yeah, I think those 7's fair for me. Question number 6. What are your goals as a painter? Any techniques that you have yet to master? Well, I guess my goals as a painter is to be able to say I think I'm an 8 instead of a 7. That would be my first goal. And part of that, I think, would be mastering wet blending. That's something that I've not really managed to get my head or my brush around yet. And I guess just general improvement and ability to focus for longer periods of time. And yeah, I guess that would be it, definitely. My goal at the minute is to think I'm an 8 instead of a 7. Question number 7. What does your wife, girlfriend, other half or your family think of your hobby? Well, the few members of the family that sort of know anything about it, or know anything about the fact that I'm into it, I guess generally impressed with the quality of work, the detail level that I can achieve, but pretty indifferent, I suppose, as far as family goes. Yeah. Question number 8. Have you personally experienced any ridicule for your hobby? No, not serious ridicule. I mean, there's always a bit of banter going on, sort of in amongst hobbyists, but no, never any direct ridicule. I mean, being 6'3", it's not the sort of thing people do. They don't pick on people if they think they might get beaten. Not that I'm a particularly intimidating guy, but I think maybe that did me some favours, especially when I was younger. I mean, now into my late 20s, I think it just gets to a point where people don't worry so much about that sort of thing, and it's not quite so high on the list of sort of priorities to put people down for, you know, things that they do, things that they're into that aren't necessarily in line with popular culture. But yeah, moving on. Question number 9. Have you ever thought about giving up the hobby? Yes and no. As I said before, I've sort of dipped in and out of the hobby a few times since I first got into it. I've never thought in my mind, you know, I'm going to give this up, sell all my stuff, just get rid of it and never go back to it. That's never been a thought, but there has been times where I've been, you know, in a period of my life where there's no time for it, there's no place for it, there isn't space for it, and I've, you know, made the conscious decision to kind of think to myself, you know, it's not worth, you know, trying to get into it now, because it just wouldn't work. It would stretch me too thin, you know, as far as funding it, I suppose, is the main thing. You know, you sit there and you look at your bank balance and you think, I simply can't afford this, but I've never thought I'm never going to do this again. Whenever those sort of questions have arisen, it's always been, well, just have a break, just step back from it for a little while and then go back to it at some point in the future. Yeah, last question, question number 10. Yes or no? Is there a cuter wargamer out there than Warhammer Joey, aka the Joey Berry? Based purely on statistics, the answer has to be no, because Joey Berry is only one person, and there's a whole world out there. She's cute, I'll give her that, but whether she's the cutest, or there's another one cuter, I really don't know. Hopefully one day, they'll appear on YouTube and blow us all away, just like Joey did when she turned up, and just like all the other girl wargamers do every time one surfaces. So yeah, there's the 10 questions. Congratulations again to jamesoncain for getting to 245 subscribers, and thank you for running this competition.